Good morning. I want to take a few minutes and talk about relapse. Relapse. In the Narcotics Anonymous book, it says relapse is an active change in our ideas and attitudes. Recovery is an active change in our ideas and attitudes. A lot of times we see people come into the fellowship and they keep the same mindset and they're not actively working on their own personal recovery. The key word is your personal recovery. Can't nobody want you to stay clean more than you want to stay clean yourself. You have to do this for yourself. Again, recovery is an active change in our ideas, that's my beliefs, my thoughts, and my attitude, my disposition, the way I present myself, the defiance has to change. Then, when we look at relapse and recovery, and I love this, it says recovery as experienced through the 12 steps is our goal. Recovery as experience through the 12 steps is the goal, not mere physical abstinence. It's not enough just to be abstinent. Abstinent means that you have abstained from using. But your attitude is the same and your ideas are the same. You're just not using. We call that a dry drunk. You're just not using. But everything else about you is the same. You're just on the launching pad waiting to use. And it's amazing, addicts sometimes can go months or even years in this state of abstinence or dry drunk before they go back and use again. To improve ourselves takes effort. It takes effort. That's why they say you have to work this program. The third step in a prayer says that it works if you work it. You die if you don't. So work it because you are worth it. That's the key. He said this thing works. It's no debate whether or not the process of recovery works. I sat here today with 29 years clean, so I know that it works. And I've seen hundreds of people stay clean who was working the program. But I've also seen hundreds of people continue to relapse who don't. So recovery is a choice. Let me hurry to a close here. It says, to improve ourselves takes effort, and since there is no way to grab a new idea on a closed mind, an opening has to be made somehow. There's no way to grab a new idea on a closed mind. I've had a couple of incidents this week that brings me to this point. And this is an anonymous program, so I'll just tell a couple of brief stories. I had one brother that I talked to who we have tried to help on numerous occasions. And so I called him, and he wanted me to help him the way he wanted to be helped. And he said, we were killing him. Not that he wasn't working the program, not that he would not get a sponsor, not that he would not go to meetings, not that he wouldn't do anything that we asked him to do, but he had his own ideas and his own attitude, but we were killing him. Amazing. And so at that point, we had to allow him to suffer the natural consequences that may bring about a more rigorous application of the program, which is tough. And I had another incident where a brother had relapsed and he was saying, well, you know what? I'm waiting till I get my mind together to come back to deal with the process of recovery. Mind you, he's out there living outside or sleeping in his car in 100-degree weather robbing, stealing, and pillaging, figuring out ways and means to get high. But that's not the difficulty, that's the insanity of addiction. But what is difficult for him is the thought of coming and going through the process to get clean. Is, oh my God, that's the hard part. Not what I'm going through out there in addiction. That's the insanity. What we have to understand, recovery is not logical. I mean, the insanity of addiction, is not logical. So when you talk to an addict who is using, none of the things that he says or she says make sense. That's why they call it insanity. I made a post and I will end with this. It says, for those who have relapse, come home. Call your mom. Call your sponsor. Call someone who cares about you before God calls you home. Let me read that again. For those who have relapsed, come home. Go somewhere and seek help. Call your mom, call your family, call those people who love you. A lot of times we think that if we just get away and nobody knows where we at, they are relieved. No, they're worried. They don't know whether you are dead, whether you're in the hospital, whether you are out there with no food, no shelter. But addiction is a selfish thing. That's a selfish decision to not contact somebody and let them know you are alive. Just because they say you can't come to their house don't mean that they don't love you. See, I can say you can't come and live with me and still love you and still want to hear from you and know that you are alive. Call your sponsor if you got one. Call your sponsor. Meet them at a meeting. Call someone who cares for you before God calls you home. We die out there. Addicts die in the midst of their addiction every day. So call somebody. We at the Adult Rehabilitation Ministry, we do have openings. If you know somebody that is suffering from addiction and have relapse or just in need of treatment, give us a call. The information will be at the chat at the bottom. If you yourself have relapse and are in need of help, give us a call. Help is available. No addict needs to suffer alone. There is help available. Relapse is an active change in your ideas and your attitudes. Thank you.